Okay, next we'll get another voting sheet here. Okay, here we go. Chair Gravitt on Standard and Assessment Committee report.
Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. Our first item is 11.2, which is the maturation parental consent form. And the motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve the maturation parental consent form draft 2.
So I'm not seeing that.
What are you seeing?
I'm seeing that the committee recommend approval of the maturation parental consent form to the board, but it doesn't, I don't have a draft 2. Is that what it?
Well, so on the report, it says draft 2. I was not available for that one in the committee. So I wonder if Vice Chair Mark Marsh could clarify that for me.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're accurate.
Yes, that is draft 2 that we'll be voting on.
Okay, so the motion.
Chair Huntsman, the difference in what we're seeing on the screen is the recommended action for committee, and then what Chair Gravitt is reading is the committee report.
Okay, and I'm not. I'm trying to get my other screen up. This is what Jeff is showing, and I haven't been able to get my other, ever since the break, I haven't been able to get my other screen up. I'm going to try one more time. Hang in there, see if I can get it. Okay. Usually in the report, I get the summary of the actions.
Yeah.
And I'm not, that's my challenge that I want to try to make sure that it's right. And that part I am not. That's the part I'm not in this round. I'm trying to follow along. I'm going to jump back out and we'll get through this. Appreciate your patience with me. I'm going to, 1 second. Appreciate your patience.
Would it be helpful for Jeff to pull up the summary of actions?
Yes.
Scroll.
I can't bring mine up.
Okay.
I tried and
There it is.
Okay.
Jeff, if you could scroll just a little bit farther to the motion for the board.
Right.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. The access on my computer, so I just want to make sure I restate the motion correctly. So the motion before the board is that the board approve the maturation parental consent form draft 2. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Chair Gravitt? Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion to the motion?
Board Member Earl.
Board Member Earl.
Yeah, just probably a clarification. I know Board Member Hanson had just requested that it matched other opt-out forms similar in nature. If often these are held after school, but if it's held during school, to make sure it incorporated that the child would have some kind of a let me see if I can read it. Presentation held during the school that the child will instead be provided a safe, supervised place and receive an alternate activity. So it's just, that's why it would be draft 2 instead of the original. So I think that's why it was probably listed that way, just for clarification.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion?
None.
Okay, we'll vote on the motion before the board approve the maturation consent form draft 2. Board Member Bolter,
Yes.
Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Member Davis,
Aye.
Member Earl,
Aye.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
Member Newell,
Yes, aye.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
and Member Huntsman and I. The voting was unanimous. Please continue, Chair Gravitt.
Okay, next item is 11.3, the Assessment and Accountability Policy Advisory Committee and Technical Advisory Committee report and recommendations. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve the recommendations of the Assessment and Accountability Policy Advisory Committee and Technical Advisory Committee.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve the recommendations of the Assessment and Accountability Policy Advisory Committee and Technical Advisory Committee. Discussion to the motion?
None.
Okay, seeing none, let's vote. Board Member Bolter,
Yes.
Member Cannon, Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Member Davis,
Yes.
Member Earl,
Yes.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
thank you. Member Newell,
Yes.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
Mark said aye. The voting was unanimous. Please continue.
Okay, item number 11.4, which is the 6 through 12 computer science standards request for approval. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve the 6 through 12 computer science standards draft 1.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve the 6 through 12 computer science standards draft 1. Discussion to the motion?
There's none.
Okay, we're going to vote. Seeing none. Board Member Bolter,
Yes.
Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Member Davis,
Yes.
Member Earl,
Yes.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
Member Hanson,
Yes.
Member Haynes,
Yes.
Member Lear,
Yes.
Member Marsh,
Yes.
Member Newell,
Yes.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
and Mark Huntsman's an aye. The voting is unanimous. Okay, please continue.
Okay, the next actionable item is 11.6, R277326, Professional Development Grant Program. This is new. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277-736 Professional Development Grant Program, Draft 1 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-736 Professional Development Grant Program Draft 1 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion?
Board Member Earl,
Board Member Earl?
Yes, I think in general, one of the concerns I have about this is tying it to increased outcomes of the assessments, which leads to a tie to high stakes testing for those plans. I'd like to see us go in a broader direction with our measurement tools and what we're that's just my comment. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion?
none.
Oh, did somebody?
There is no other discussion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to vote on it. The motion before the board is that the board approve R277-736 Professional Development Grant Program Draft 1 on second and final reading. Board Member Bolter.
No.
Board Member Cannon.
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins.
Yes?
Member Davis.
Aye.
Member Earl.
No.
Chair Gravitt.
Yes.
Member Hanson.
Aye.
Member Haynes.
Aye.
Board Member Haynes.
Aye.
Member Lear.
Aye.
Member Marsh.
Aye.
Member Newell.
Yes.
Member Thorpe.
Aye.
And Mark Huntsman's an aye. The motion passes. Okay, please continue.
Okay, the next item is 11.7, R277-406 Early Literacy Program and Benchmark Reading Assessment. This is an amendment. The board is the committee moves that the board approve R277-406 Early Literacy Program and Benchmark Reading Assessment Draft 2 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-406 Early Literacy Program and Benchmark Reading Assessment Draft 2 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion?
Board Member Lear,
Member Lear.
I had a question similar to Board Member Earl's previous question. And this would apply to the rule we're currently discussing as well as the previous one. Are these the kinds of, I don't know if there was money attached or funding attached to these in the 2020 session, but if there was, and maybe if that's a simple yes or no, then that answers my question. But if there is money attached, is this the kind of funding that we could lose going forward as the legislature reappropriates or takes away money? Can somebody answer that?
Chair Huntsman, Jeff Van Holten, I could answer that.
Okay, Jeff.
Board member here, you are correct. This rule, the amendment for this rule was as a result of House Bill 114 that did provide funding for the benchmark assessment for early mathematics, which was the main edit for this rule. So that funding could go away and there would not be an ability to purchase the mathematics assessment.
And can I follow up, Chair?
Yes, follow up.
And so I guess we're doing the same thing. We're starting to have it abruptly stop. Is that right?
I didn't quite catch all of that, board member.
I'm saying we're given the certain funding, we'll start work on this. The board staff will, and the board will, but it could abruptly stop. Is that right?
That is correct, depending on the special session and what happens with funding.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Board Member Earl,
Board Member Earl.
Yes, this, I I just want to speak to a couple of things in this rule. Once again, we're tying assessments back to reaching certain percents and different things. I feel like we need to be broader in that, allow several meaningful, authentic assessments to be applied. And I realize this is the law, but we also wrote the law. Just a couple other quick things. I brought these up in committee, but when we begin to put in here dispositions of people's feelings towards things for productive dispositions, we're directing specific types of mathematic thinking or learning instead of leaving that broad. We're getting into the ways of teaching instead of things that the LEA should be doing. So that is the reason why I will not be voting for this.
Any further discussion?
None.
Okay, we're going to vote on this. The motion before the board is that the board approve R277-406 early literacy and benchmark reading and draft 2 on second and final reading. Board member Bolter,
No.
member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Aye.
member Davis,
Aye.
member Earl,
No.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
member Hanson,
Aye.
member Haynes,
Aye.
member Lear,
Aye.
member Marsh,
Aye.
member Newell,
Yes.
member Thorpe,
Aye.
and Mark Huntsman's an aye. The motion passes. Please continue.
Okay, we're moving on to 11.8, which is R277-327, School Leadership Development. This is new. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277-327, School Leadership Development, Draft 1 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-327, School Leadership Development, Draft 1 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion.
None.
Okay, seeing none, let's vote. Member Bolter,
Yes.
member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
member Davis,
Yes.
member Earl,
Yes.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
member Hanson,
Aye.
member Haynes,
Aye.
member Lear,
Aye.
member Marsh,
Aye.
member Newell,
Yes.
member Newell.
Yes.
Thank you. Thorpe
Aye.
and Mark Huntsman's an aye. Voting is unanimous. Please continue.
Okay, item number 11.9, this is the R277-476, the Civics Engagement Pilot Program. This is a new program. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277-476, Draft 3 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is the board approve R277-476 draft 3 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion.
None.
Seeing none, is that what I heard?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So let's vote. Board member Bolter,
Yes.
member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
member Davis,
Yes.
member Earl,
Yes.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
member Hanson,
Aye.
member Haynes,
Aye.
member Lear,
Hang on. Just a sec.
Member Lear? I'll come back. Member Marsh?
Aye.
Member Newell?
Yes.
Member Thorpe?
Aye.
Member Huntsman's an aye. Board Member Lear, I didn't get your vote.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Voting is unanimous.
Okay,
Please continue.
action item 11.10, instructional materials for implementation of human trafficking prevention and awareness requirements for parents and guardians. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve 3 Strands Global Foundation and Refugee and Immigrant Center Asian Association of Utah as providers for human trafficking prevention and awareness instructional materials for parents and guardians.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve 3 Strands Global Foundation and Refugee and Immigrant Center Asian Association of Utah as providers for human trafficking prevention and awareness instructional materials for parents and guardian. Discussion to the motion.
There's none.
Okay, seeing none, let's vote. Member Bolter,
Yes.
Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Member Davis,
Yes.
Member Earl,
Yes.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Hanson,
I'm an aye.
thank you. Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
Member Newell,
Yes.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
and Member Huntsman's an aye. Motion carries unanimously. Please continue.
Okay, action item 11.11, the Comprehensive School Threat Assessment Guidelines, CSTAG. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve the CSTAG assessment as the evidence-based threat assessment.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve the CSTAG threat assessment as the evidence-based threat assessment. Discussion to the motion?
There's none.
Seeing none, let's vote. Member Bolter,
Yes.
Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Aye.
did I get an aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Member Davis,
Aye.
Member Earl,
Aye.
Chair Gravitt,
Aye.
Member Hanson, Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
Member Newell,
Yes.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
Member Huntsman's an aye. Voting was unanimous. Please continue.
Okay, number 11.12, the USEEP recommendations, social emotional learning and students with disabilities. The motion before the board is the committee moves that the board approve the recommendations in the USEEP memo, social emotional learning and students with disabilities.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve the recommendations in the USEEP memo, social emotional learning and students with disabilities. Any discussion to the motion?
There's none.
Okay, let me reread it. I can read a lot better than I just read that. So the motion, and then we're going to vote. The motion before the board is to approve the recommendations in the USEEP memo, social emotional learning and students with disabilities. We're going to vote. Board Member Bolter,
Yes.
Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Member Davis, Member Davis,
Yes.
Member Earl,
Yes.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Aye.
Board Member Lear,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
Member Newell,
Yes.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
and Member Huntsman.
Yeah.
Voting is unanimous. Please continue.
Okay, 11.13, R277-489, the Kindergarten Entry and Exit Assessment Early Intervention Program. This is an amendment. The motion for the board is the committee moves that the board approve R277-489, Kindergarten Entry and Exit Assessment Early Intervention Program Draft 2 on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is the board approve R277-489 Kindergarten Entry and Exit Assessment Early Intervention Program Draft 2 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion.
Board Member Earl?
Board Member Earl,
Yes, thank you. So similar to the others, this is we're using an assessment to base the funding on. And while I think staff did a good job of balancing this out, I think there are other things that should be placed into this for measurement tools. And I think we'll be moving that way as we look at some of our assessments moving forward. But I don't necessarily agree with the direction this is taking this or the emphasis it's putting on this assessment. It ends up making it more of a high stakes assessment. So I will not be voting for this today.
okay. Any further discussion?
There's none.
Okay, seeing none, we're going to vote. I'm going to restate the motion. I believe Member Scott Nielsen just joined us. The motion before the board is that the board approve R277-489 Kindergarten Entry and Exit Assessment Early Intervention Program Draft 2 on second and final reading. So we're going to vote. Member Bolter,
No.
Member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Member Davis, Member Davis, I'll come back. Member Earl,
No.
Chair Gravitt,
Yes.
Member Hanson,
Yes.
Member Hanson.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Aye.
Member Marsh,
Aye.
Member Nielsen, Scott Nielsen, are you on the line?
Yes, yes, I'm online. I am no.
And you're a no on your vote? Member,
Correct.
okay, got it. Member Newell,
Yes.
Member Thorpe,
Aye.
I go back to Member Davis,
Aye.
okay, and Member Huntsman's an aye. The motion passes. Okay, please continue.
Okay, last actionable item, everyone. 11.14, R277-493, the Kindergarten Supplemental Enrichment Program, and this is a repeal. Motion for the board is the committee moves that the board repeal R277-493, Kindergarten Supplemental Enrichment Program on second and final reading.
Okay, The motion for the board is to repeal R277-493 kindergarten supplemental enrichment program on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion?
There's none.
Okay, seeing none. Let's vote. Board member Bolter,
Yes.
member Cannon,
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Davis,
Aye.
member Earl,
Aye.
Chair Gravitt,
Aye.
member Hanson,
Aye.
member Haynes,
Aye.
member Lear,
Aye.
member Marsh,
Aye.
member Newell,
Yes.
member Thorpe,
Aye.
and member Huntsman's and I voting was unanimous. That concludes your report.
That concludes my report. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Chair, Board Member Earl has a hand raised.
Board member Earl,
Yes, I just had oh, whoops.
I think Vice Chair Cummins, did you have her hand, is it still up?
Sorry. It must have, I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. I don't know. It's a little tricky, I think, technology today. My question is just this. I think maybe Jennifer Thronson could answer this, but it seemed like we needed to take on a number of new personnel associated with a number of these new policies that we've taken on. Can you remind us of who we would need to be hiring and what areas that would be in? Is Jennifer available to address that?
Is this a question regarding our agenda item, or is it just a
Well,
general?
it's the ones we just finished. Yes, so it's in regards to the policies we just finished.
Is Jennifer Bronson available?
Yes, if you, Jennifer Thronson, Director of Teaching and Learning, I'd be happy to answer those questions.
Okay, please do.
Sure. So depending on which one, so given the pieces you have right now, I'm just going to run through standards and assessment. The Professional Development Grant Program and the Early Literacy Program benchmark piece there, that was intended to have one more staff for elementary mathematics to support LEAs that might need additional supports as they improve their mathematical learning for students. The school leadership program was also anticipated to bring on a specialist or a coordinator to oversee that particular program. And civics engagement pilot program, we were just going to contract out for a small portion on that for staff. Just make sure I don't miss any. And then the kindergarten piece, in terms of that program, it is expanding. We're going to be able to assume that responsibility in-house. There was an amendment in the bill that requires us to support private schools, like private child care providers, in inserting their preschool assessments, and we were going to hire some additional staff to be able to take on that burden of those additional enrollments of private child care students. So at this point, we're probably down. Well, in TSSP, we were also going to hire to be able to support that project more fully, to run analyses on whether that's actually having the impact it should have. We're probably looking at about 4 staff that we were expecting to bring on with the passage of these bills.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay, thank you.